All right. We got to talk about Tokyo Fish Attack, guys, because this was something else. Came recommended to me by a friend who is always trying to get me to watch anime, and she said that this is a really messed up one, and I would like it, and it was, and I did. So, spoiler alert, you know the drill, yada yada yada. You watch this and it's ruined for you. It's your own damn fault. Okay, warning out of the way. Let's get into it. So, first scene: fishing trawler off the coast of Japan. Fisherman pulling up a net. Fisherman looking horrified. Close up of a fish's eye. We don't know what they saw, but they're horrified. End scene. Short and sweet. Beautiful. Then we cut to a restaurant in Okinawa where three friends are hanging out and have left Tokyo for, a weekend or a week or whatever getaway. I think it's before their graduation or something like that. And they're just going to spend some time together in Okinawa, which I don't know much about Japan, but it looks a lot more like peaceful than Tokyo. So cool. As they're walking back down the path, they notice a disgusting smell lingering in the air, which one of them describes as smelling like a rotting human corpse. Yummy. Anyway, they get to the cabin and they enter and something scurries across the floor right away. They're like, okay, what the hell was that? And then it scurries across the floor again to behind like a bookshelf. And our main character, Kiori, she takes it upon herself to dispose of this creature by slamming the shelf against the wall, pinning the creature in between it and squishing it. So blood flies out. Then they go to look at what it was, and it was a fish, surprisingly, with like biomechanical legs. So they're like, what the fuck? And it stanks. That's the cause of the smell, I guess. So they dispose of it. They throw it in a little plastic bag and throw it outside and go back to their adventures. They're not going to let something like a biomechanical walking fish ruin their vacation, damn it. So they go back inside, and then it pans out and they show the bag levitating off the ground and floating away. All right, why not? It's not weird enough as it is, right? Anyway, that's past it. They all go to bed, I guess. Next morning, there's a knock at the door, and Erica, one of the three girls, also has invited two guys over. Cool beans. And they're all wanting to, well, have a threesome, essentially. That's what they're aiming for. And they're about to begin this as she takes them to her room, and a giant shark with biomechanical legs walks by the window and stops and looks in and lunges through the window. There we go. So scrambling, trying to get away. This giant shark is chasing all three of them. The other girl's name is Aki, by the way, and I don't know the name of the two boys that Erica invited over. Anyway, it's chasing them throughout the cabin and whatnot, and it's got Erica pinned to the ground or whatever. One of its like spear leg things is in her skirt, so she like is stuck. And Kiori pulls her, and it rips her skirt off, and her shirt gets ripped off somehow. So she's in her underwear because that's necessary, obviously. You don't see some horror tropes are transcontinental. It's not just a U.S. thing where the girl gets reduced to her underwear. It's a global phenomenon. Apparently, when you're attacked by a creature, you have to be in your underwear if you're a young girl. Anyway, lo and behold, Kiori distracts it and it lunges at her, and she moves and it flies out the window and on the ground, whatever. They live. Yeah, good times. So Kiori calls her boyfriend what is his name? Tadashi, I think. If I'm messing up the name, I apologize. I literally just watched this, but I'm not very good with Japanese names. But I think it's Tadashi. She calls him. He's in Tokyo still. She tells him all about this weird fish thing they found and the shark and all that stuff. And he's like, wow, what the hell, blah, 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 blah. And, yeah, it escalates further after the call. And there's, like, these creatures, like, all over Okinawa. And so that's not fun. Tadashi ends up calling her again and is like, I saw on the news that, like, it's overrun. Like, just wanted to make sure you're okay. And she's like, yeah, I'm good. And then turns out they're in Tokyo too, because basically phone goes dead after he screams. So she's assuming something friggin' attacked him. So now Kiori's determined to get out of Dodge and back to Tokyo to make sure that her boyfriend is okay. Leaving Aki, Erica, and the two guys in the cabin or whatever. And Aki's like, well, you're just gonna leave me? And it's like, no, Erica's here. And she's like, Erica's kind of a bitch or whatever. And whatever, she's going. And Erica gets her threesome, and Aki's in the other room plugging her ears, cursing at both her and Kyori. Kyori for leaving, and Erica for being a slut, I guess, apparently. Her words, not mine. I'm not slut shaming. I'm just saying. That's what she called her. So that's going down. And yeah. Apparently there's like a stink. And it turns out it's coming from Erica. And she like mutates into like this green blobby creature thing, which scares the boys off, obviously. And Aki finds her like that, and it's like, okay, ew. And they have like a little quarrel and whatnot, and yeah, it's interesting. Don't remember the exact steps that lead up to it, but they end up like fighting physically, and Aki ends up smashing her head in with a stone ashtray or something. And harsh girl fight words are exchanged, but it's basically assumed that she pretty much kills Erica's bloated, mutated fish body or whatever. And then we cut to the airport. All the flights are canceled, so Kyori's gonna wait for like a cancellation, or not cancel, but they're full, and she's gonna wait for a cancellation. And she meets okay, I wrote his name here, Shinakawa. So there's a guy there named Shinakawa. He's like a freelance photographer, and he's wanting to go to Tokyo to take pictures as well. And whatever, they finally get a plane and they take off, and as they're going to land, they have to land at another airport because apparently Tokyo is overrun. But when they land at this airport, that one's overrun too. There's all these fish things with legs all over the runway, which shreds the hell out of the landing gear, and the plane basically crashes. And yeah, that's fun. So they get into the airport and they're like, okay, we can take a monorail to town, we can take the train or whatever. They end up taking the subway because I think the monorail's too packed or whatever. And same thing happens with the subway. A bunch of fish creatures in there cause it to crash. Kyori wakes up to is it Shinakawa? Oh, I'm so bad with names. They wake up, or where they come to, and there's like a bunch of like dead bodies from the train crash. Like some people lived, but a lot of them didn't. And yeah. So they head to, I don't remember the name of it. It's like a precinct or something of Tokyo, I guess, where she knew that her boyfriend was at the time. And there's like a military presence there, and they won't like let her cross the bridge, and she's kind of getting desperate. Oh, there's like an octopus too that's like with the legs on it that attacks them. So yeah, first a shark chases them, and then an octopus thing, and like, I mean, these events don't really matter what order they are, so I'm not going to try to remember when they happen in the movie. But anyway, they're attacked by a shark, they're attacked by an octopus, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, Shinakawa. Again, I'm sorry if I'm getting the name wrong. I'm going to call him Shin. So Shin backs into the octopus thing with a truck enough for them to like take off and whatever. Anyway, they like, I guess they have a limited lifespan, the fish or whatever, because the sharks like start exploding and fish and stuff, and the military's like trying to keep them at bay and whatnot. So, like, bullets don't do much to it. It's just such a fucked up movie. At one point, it starts like, what happened to Erica starts happening to a bunch of people. So anyone who gets scratched, or it's like a werewolf curse or whatever, like you get infected. And essentially it's revealed that, yeah, the biomechanical legs have like an infection in them, that anything they scratch gets mutated into weird, gross fish things to like further progress the infection or something like that. Anyway, it's like, it's getting everything. So like, not just fish and sharks and octopus and people, they're like cats and dogs that have on these little biomechanical walking things. So I think the animal or the person or whatever is like the host, and then the biomechanical walking thing attaches to them from the underside. So I don't know if that thing is alive itself and it's just needing the biological aspect of an animal to function. I don't really know. Anyway. So Shin and Kyori go to her boyfriend's apartment or whatever, boyfriend/uncle's apartment, and they find his shoes there but no sign of him, and they see a computer and there's like a video that shows that his uncle is actually the professor that's been working on trying to figure out what's causing all this, and he's made his own version of the walking thing, the walking pad that the fish go on. I'm sorry, this is actually a terrible review, but it's just such a bizarre movie. And then in the video they show what is it, Tadashi, the boyfriend, getting like pricked by one of the fish people or fish leg things. Anyway, long story short, he's mutated. They eventually find the lab and they see like the boyfriend in like one of those leg carrier things, and he's all mutated like Erica was. So yeah, he's pretty much curtains for him, but she's like hopeless romantic, and she's like, you have to, you know, we have to like try to help him or whatever. And that's when the uncle comes in and he explains the whole story of what happened. His arm got infected, but he cut off his arm, and he's doing research and he's trying to like figure shit out and how they work biologically and stuff. And it's apparently what's causing it was like a biological weapon that Japan was working on in World War II that was being transported across the Pacific and was sunk by an American ship, and I guess it leaked into the ocean eventually, and these creatures are now infected with it or whatever. And cool. Why not? Yeah, so where do we go from here? Basically, Tadashi, again, sorry if I'm getting the name wrong, seems to be a little bit more conscious, because the biomechanical thing that he is on is one that his uncle designed based on the ones that were like coming onto shore. So I don't know if that like helped him not be brain controlled as much. Yeah, that was a good sentence. But for whatever reason, he has some control. So he, I guess, is mad at his uncle because he ends up stabbing his uncle through the chest, and then his little biomechanical feet and his bloated body just take off. And Kyori is, again, the hopeless romantic. She's like wanting to see if there's a way to fix him, so she runs after him. And the uncle, professor dude or whatever, is talking to Shin. He's like, yeah, I don't know you very well, but like take care of Kyori or whatever and make sure she's all good. And there's still one thing I have to do before I die. And so so you see him helping the professor like hobble to some other research area and closes the door, and that's the last we hear of him, pretty much. I mean, we find out later what's going on, but that's that. Tadashi is being shot at by like a military guy, and she like tries to stop the soldier. It's not hurting him anyway, so not a huge deal. Soldier ends up getting killed by another mechanical thing, and just all this chaos is going on. And basically, I guess all the other biomechanical fish, people, whatever animals, it's like a swarm of everything now, mostly people at this point, recognize that Tadashi still has some consciousness. I guess they're like a hive mind or something, so they basically swarm him and tear him apart. And Kyori is like climbing on them, trying to help him, but it's too late. He's done. Shin at this point has caught up with her as well, but he ends up getting scratched. So we know what his fate is, but she's not aware yet. She has a little nervous breakdown. All hope lost, boyfriend gone, no chance of even trying to save him if there is a way. It's like literally that's it. That's a little rough for her. Shin is like, okay, well, there's a boat that's like off the coast. We're gonna get you to that. You have to keep going. She gets her will to live again eventually. I guess a little pep talk worked or whatever. And they get this little green rubber dinghy or whatever that she's gonna with a little motor on the end. She's gonna go, and he's like, okay, but yeah, this is where we part ways. She's like, no, you come. And he's like, no. And he shows her the scratch. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be basically one of those in a matter of hours or whatever it is, however long it takes to mutate. And she's like, shit, okay, well, that's not ideal, but I get it. So he stays behind, and she goes to the boat, and they show clips of all over the world. So like Paris, the Eiffel Tower, there's like fish things flying everywhere, and then there's the Taj Mahal with a bunch of fish things swarming up towards it, the Red Square in Russia, and New York with the Chrysler Building. Anyway, it's global now, so these fish things are basically taking over the whole world. She's motoring off to go meet the rescue boat or whatever. I mean, I don't know what good it's going to do at this point if the whole world is overrun, but as that happens, I think it's completely pointless. I don't know what the point of it is, but Shin looks up, and the professor is on one of those clamped, one of the carrier biomechanical base things, but it has wings, and he just like flies over, but he's all mutated and shit, so I don't know what the point of that is. But it was a great scene, and he's just like, okay, sure, why not at this point? So there's one that can fly now, and it's the professor, because he made his own thing. I assume if he made it, he has some control too. Maybe there's a sequel that I don't know about where like he does something to stop it. I don't know. But anyway, as of this movie standalone, kind of a pointless scene, but kind of brilliant. Yeah. And then on the boat, basically she's come to peace with things, I guess. I don't know. And the guy's like, you know, it's a horrible smell. It smells like rotting flesh. And she's like, yeah, I'm used to it. And then the credits roll, and then that was the movie. My description is terrible, by the way. It sounds really stupid and whatever, but it was actually put together pretty well. Again, I'm not an expert in anime, so I don't know if this is considered like a really good one, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm not even an anime fan. So if I liked it, there's got to be something to it, right? And to prove that, my rating. It's a good one. I'm going to give it a 9.12. Yes. 9.12 for this bad boy. I watched it on an anime site. I can't remember what the site was, but it's not streaming on any major platform. Maybe on like Crunchyroll or something. If you have that, you could take a look for it. But that's how I found out. You could probably just type into Google, like, watch Tokyo Fish Attack free streaming or whatever, and you'll probably find it. But yeah, that was it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Can't recommend it enough. Thank you again for the recommendation. That was really bizarre, and it was a nice, different kind of movie from the ones I've been watching so far, which obviously I'm enjoying, but it's nice to mix it up a little bit with something bizarre like this. If more anime is like this, I might have to check out anime a little bit more than I have currently. So anyway, that's it. Tokyo Fish Attack. Very bizarre. Oh, and by the way they spread the gas is they burp and fart it. So that's fun. Oh boy. Okay. Take her easy.